Hi Leos, and welcome to your November 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the month ahead of November, a very exciting Scorpio season. We are moving into two eclipses happening. One happened October 25th, partial solar eclipse in Scorpio, and then also a total lunar eclipse on November 8th in the sign of Taurus, both fellow fixed signs. This will have a really important impact on all of the fixed signs, including yourself and Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. So let's talk about that in this reading, Leo. Let's talk about the transformations coming in for your sign in Scorpio. And let's do, of course, a week-by-week tarot forecast and an extended reading on Patreon, which will be linked below. Okay, let's dive straight into it. Let's move fast. Let's be efficient. Okay, efficiency. Yeah, I think that things have to get a lot more efficient to you. This darn 9 of Wands just will not go away. I tell you what, you guys, 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands, even that 5 of Wands energy has been so prevalent this year. So has 10 of Pentacles, though. So it does feel like a lot of us are really cultivating a source of value that is spanning for our lifetimes here. Perhaps some of the stuff you're creating in November, Leos, or for the entire year of 2022, will be things that pay you back or serve as a foundation for you for the rest of your life. There's still going to be time to do that. Don't worry if you feel like you're behind, or if you feel like you're not quite there, or you're not just in the productive place you want to be. I think that November will get you there. It is important to know that that phase, though, was highly connected to the Saturn-Uranus squares, which have been happening since early 2021 strongly. And those are breaking up this month. So they will kind of maintain a semi-orb. Not really, but until February or March 2023, I think there's an argument that we can still feel the Saturn-Uranus squares happening. So we certainly have until then, or even a bit longer, to really create some of these deep, entrenched, and life-serving constructs or structures in our life. And throughout the month of November, I feel that you are stepping into your power. Okay, the Emperor card, the Judgment card, the 10 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So the wheel is turning here. There's a change in your proximity, perhaps to something that has been a power or energy source for you for a long time. This Wheel of Fortune reversed has also been coming up a lot this month. So there's just a big change in relationships. There's a big change in that person who's always been there for you, or that person who's already always been a consistent sort of fixture in your life may no longer be there. And then also people who haven't been there may step back in. So we are looking at a very different wheel here. We're looking at a very different makeup. So any major structure in your life, expect to see that over the next 6 months really changing its disposition. So if you can imagine a huge series of cogs creating a certain output collectively, those cogs are changing here. Different ones are coming into contact with different ones, and perhaps that changes the general flow of energy. So I just want you guys to know that that's happening. So being that you're a fixed sign, you might be more reliant on routine or more reliant on that which you know how to do, even if it's not yielding the optimum results. We have to break with that a little bit here. And this lunar eclipse happening on November 8th in that second week where you have the Judgment card, that's probably going to be it, because it's in the sign of Taurus. It's going to connect the North Node, of course, and that's going to show us an entirely new way that certain material constructs in our life can function. So the main thing intuitively coming in for you this month, Leo, is to not fear a change in your status quo. Try to welcome and embrace new upgrades, new updates, new ways, new formats, so that your output and your system can get stronger. It seems like a hard time, or even an unrewarding time, to force the long-running stuff to continue working here. I've made a lot of metaphors and comparisons recently on the channel about needing to reinvent the wheel. We've really got to accept the wheel here so that we can have a better output and not keep putting ourselves in this 9 of Wands place. Also, Leos, I'm feeling intuitively for you that you're needing to do less, and you're needing to have more assistance in your life, perhaps. It might be important to, in time, have more rest and to have more support, and to reward yourself for how far you've come in the last 2 years. It will be really nice in the month of November to buy yourself a gift, assuming that that's a responsible choice for you to make here. It might also be really nice to allow yourself more service in your life if that's a responsible move to make. It doesn't have to be something related to money and materialism, though being that, again, we have this eclipse in Taurus, it very likely will. I think that there's a change in status, there's a change in the way that you rely on others, because again, especially if you're a Leo rising, right? And even if you're not a Leo rising, like your collective sign places Taurus onto the 10th house. So there's an eclipse in your 10th house. There's a change in status. For most of you, if you're working well with your karma and with your energy, it's going to be an upward change. And that might mean that you might have to have more help, or even increase certain lines in your budget so that you can do better. But you might see subsequent decreases elsewhere to where you actually end up spending less, but have way more help and way more, I don't want to say luxury, but there is something of luxury, I think, coming in for you here. The word luxury is coming up here with this eclipse in Taurus. And yes, of course, there's the polar opposite side where some of you might be overindulging or overspending, and that has to change here. And it will actually feel like a healing process for your body to have less. If you can imagine having a super strong sweet tooth and eating so much sugar every day, it's not going to feel good for the first week or two to stop that, but then imagine a month or two later, your body starts healing and the good feeling really starts to come over you. Anyway, Leos, let's talk about your week to week in November. Okay, week number 1, you have the Wheel of Fortune reversed, done by the Emperor. I love this. So you are proving your power to other people. What you don't need to do is make small level power moves or power plays. Because that uses up the energy that you need to be holding and maintaining. It's more about holding and maintaining this energy than it is about showing people how powerful you are or making an example of your new position in life or your newfound strength. So for any of you Leos who have Scorpio placements in your chart, of course we're in Scorpio season here, you would kind of understand the way that deep life force energy kind of fluctuates and changes seasonally through life. Sometimes we have more of it, sometimes we have less of it, sometimes we don't know how to use the abundance of it that we have, and other times we don't know how to cut back appropriately either. So when we can't really operate in tandem with the status of our life force energy, that can lead to illness or it can lead to a feeling of disempowerment. So it's really important that you kind of assess, okay, how much energy do I have here? How zesty am I feeling about life? Do I have any feelings of fatigue or gray zone, kind of apathy? Or am I feeling even on the opposite end of that, super just shiny, sparkly, and strong? As I feel most of you are actually there, which is really cool to see at long last for your sign. There's also a feeling of that in the first week of November. At long last, I have overcome my depression. At long last, I have purpose in my life. At long last, I'm sitting on a throne that I've made for myself, and now it's acknowledged or it's realized by other people. So that's just beautiful to see happening for you all. And it's just likely that there's a change in stature. The Wheel of Fortune reversed, again, is a change in fortune. It's shifting the status quo of your life. So that could be very beneficial for you, depending on where you're coming from. Week number 2, the 5 of Wands, rooted down by the Judgment card. Okay, waking up to conflict, overcoming conflict. In this case, I would interpret the Judgment card as an overcoming or a realization of the higher moral, and sacrificing or just leaving behind the need to have small level conflicts. So watch out for confrontational mindsets, needing to tell someone how something is. Ego stuff like that. Of course, with the Emperor and the Judgment card and the Ten of Pentacles, we could really be dealing with a lot of ego here. And of course, Leo is the ruling sign of the ego. So there is going to be an ego test for you also in November. And you might be dealing with really difficult egotistical people, but you're tested to not have to engage or spend your life force energy on telling them things, it's kind of a waste of time. It's really hard to change people's minds, actually. A lot of times people's minds don't change, and what you see is just a lot of talking at each other and wasting of vocal energy on trying to look as if you have the answer. So that is a waste of time, and we need to see it as such. And we need to move on to the bigger stuff. That is definitely the message coming there. Also, watch out for being at conflict with yourself. like knowing that you need to save more money, but like not making a budget, or like wanting to get out of debt, but not stopping like credit card spending. You know, there's a feeling with this in the second week of like not being able to diagnose conflicts that you're engaging with yourself, and needing to do that and needing to understand it. And you could have a big wake up call about your own actions that might contradict or conflict with your soul knowing and the deep knowing of where you need to go. Week number 3, 4 of Cups, you're down by the 9 of Wands. Okay, so this is very antithetical to the first week. You have this like bold feeling of empowerment in the first week, and then in the third week, this is like feeling worse for wear, and also kind of feeling like you're in timeout or something. So we see what it means to have these types of positions, what it means to have this stature, what it means to be so strong. It's interesting to do some philosophical studying about what it has meant for people through history to be very, very strong and formidable. What it meant for them later in life, what it meant for, you know, their need for security, their need for resources, and the kind of paradoxical way that all of that empowerment was actually like deeply destabilizing. So there's something like that coming up for you. It's like, wow, I finally met a goal, or wow, I've finally done the thing. And now look at all of these other considerations. And that's like profound. It's not meant to be discouraging, but it is profound, and it's something for you to think about as you are going to be called in the month of December to come back to the table and to see what it was worth, and to understand how you want to live, okay, and how you want to adjust the morals of your life, December through March of 2023, and to a degree the entire year of 2023 for Leo. Not to spoil you guys, because I will be making a dedicated video, has a lot to do with coming back to the like life decision table and implementing certain new changes. So it's good for you guys to know that coming through November and the end of 2022. And that third week of November is really indicating that. It's like, oh my gosh, in order to get that like PhD, in order to make that really solid business, oh my God, it has taken so much energy. And now look at the different connotations. Again, it's not like a good or bad thing, but it's like a learning, or it's some type of learning phase for you about what it took to do things. And it is empowering, because you have this like Emperor card and Judgment card and 10 of Pentacles, right? So there's a lot that you've gained. But what have you lost, and what has it cost is important to understand here. Okay, and in the fourth week of the month, you have the 10 of Pentacles rooted down by the 6 of Swords reversed. Okay, so I really like this as well, actually, for you. Again, having like the Emperor and the Judgment card really says that you are being able to perceive and wrap your mind around what you have brought together in your life. Also the ancestral connotation of your efforts. So that's important to look at here as well, and could again be another kind of project shaping up for you over the next year, which is going to be understanding how you can direct your efforts and your energy alongside some of the previous efforts of your ancestors, and how you can really wield that energy in an appropriate way to the times. So this doesn't have to be like really direct and obvious. In fact, this can be creative and kind of flexible or adaptable. So like, you don't have to say, okay, I have an ancestor who was a blacksmith, I'm going to become a blacksmith now. But you can kind of start to creatively construe this stuff and be like, okay, I have an ancestor who was a blacksmith. Speaking of which, there is construction noise outside. I apologize if that is loud, Leos. I cannot help it. So if you had an ancestor who was a blacksmith, maybe now you can start to creatively form, I don't know, even like digital tools for other people, or like something that is a similar type of energy, but is up to date with the times. So you could be making like, I don't know, technologies or productivity tools for people, and still be kind of utilizing that energy. It's important to understand how you are creatively utilizing the energy of like your ancestors or the people who've come before you. Also, it's likely that the elders of your family may be looking at you differently, with the Six of Swords rooting that down reversed. So there's a change in your identity within the family, perhaps. And then if you are like maybe more of an elder in your family, you could be becoming that. You could be becoming an elder in your family, or you could be viewing the younger generations differently here, or understanding a different connotation there. So let's talk more about it in your extended reading, Leos. I'm going to do a central theme, two supporting themes, and a significator card for you. That will be linked below on Patreon, and I'm going to understand a little bit more, especially about how you can step into this new feeling of strength and power in a strong and sustainable way. And yes, if you enjoyed the video, share it with another Leo and hit that thumbs up button. I hope you all have a beautiful November. Let's do this extended. Much love. Bye.